taking a shit all over the female ego.
Photoshop, corsets, and Botox, oh please.
And then there are mixed signals everywhere telling you to just be you.
But look like this.
Love yourself.
But look like this.
Be body positive.
But only if you look like this.
No offense, J-Lo, but this Jenny from the block eats meat with rice and beans, no salad.
Yeah, it's okay to be thick, but just not here, or here, or here. How the fuck is that possible without a magic wand?
Fat activist in Brisbane. I blog at Fat Hefferlump, where I've been blogging for about 5 years. And it's my goal to change the way people think about fatness. I always thought I was fat. One of my earliest memories, I was called fat. I've always been called fat. And I believed that the worst thing a person could possibly be was fat. Through my teens and 20s and early 30s, I just battled it in every single way I could. You name the diet, I was on it. You name the weight loss plan, I was on it. I believed that I couldn't do anything in life that was good until I was thin. I couldn't have any form of success, couldn't have a good job, couldn't have a loving relationship, couldn't be happy in any way. So I didn't try.
When I first appeared on stage, what was your perception of me? Lazy, disgusting, perhaps depressed, unmotivated, unhealthy. Based on my appearance, it's usually assumed that I'm lazy and unhealthy, that my weight and my condition in life are self-inflicted. That's not true, but often I don't get a second chance to make a first impression. Now, those stereotypical perceptions that pop in people's minds when they see someone affected by obesity, that's weight bias. And while a stranger's opinion of me, like the woman in the grocery store who once made fun of my cankles, might hurt my feelings. But weight bias that I've experienced in healthcare has hurt me physically. When doctors and nurses have the perception that I'm lazy and unmotivated and non-compliant, that influences the care they provide and then has a negative impact on my health. Now, perhaps you're wondering, how is my health? Metabolically speaking, I'm actually pretty healthy. I don't have diabetes, I don't have sleep apnea, and I don't have high blood pressure. I've had tests canceled because I weigh too much for the equipment. Okay, if I can't have the test, then how's my doctor going to make a diagnosis? And so I'm concerned, and I speak up and I'm told I shouldn't expect to be accommodated for my poor lifestyle choices. Well, that's weight bias. I'm told that doctors and hospitals shouldn't have to buy expensive equipment for just a few patients. Now, the pulmonologist walks in the room and greets me by saying, "Oh, I know why you're short of breath. You weigh over 300 pounds. I don't even need to examine you." That's weight bias. When doctors were surveyed, they indicated the higher the patient's BMI, the less desire they had to treat them. When nurses were surveyed, 31% indicated they'd prefer not to treat patients affected by obesity, and 24% said they were actually repulsed by such patients. Repulsed. I'm repulsed by the fact that more than 50% of nurses admit to engaging in weight bias.
Attitude, all about fat bodies in pop culture.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Lindsay Averill, who's a friend of mine and a co-director.
Are you in this movie?
I am.
Oh, great.
And Tess, and like
great.
every other body image person in the world. Actually, they didn't read a lot of cool people. But she talks about how there's 16, roughly, archetypes, ways that we see fat people portrayed. And that's very limited.
Right.
And in the grand scheme of all of the types of characters that we have in the world, but I write in my book about 3 that I think are especially harmful. And then when I lecture, I talk about it too. We see the funny fat person, the stupid fat person, and the evil fat person.
Oh, yeah.
And like you can list like 20 characters for each of these.
The first one that comes to mind is the sea witch from
Ursula.
Yeah, it's Ursula from The Little Mermaid.
Penguin from Batman.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
Jabba the Hutt.
And those images are just quietly put into our point of view, and I didn't even think that far into it, that those are the characteristics of the evil people in a lot of these movies. They're all fat.
And not all fat, funny, stupid, evil, well, I'm gonna say not all funny, stupid, evil people are fat. But when you see fat bodies portrayed in popular culture, we're talking characters, not people. Like, not Adele, we're talking about...
characters.
Yeah.
Such as Jabba the Hutt.
Such as. More often than not, when we do see fat bodies, they are portrayed in those three ways, or maybe, you know, the other ones that Lindsay talks about. But what ends up happening because of this conditioning is when we see fat bodies outside of those roles,
how do we subconsciously connect that?
We don't know how to process fat bodies who are happy, smart, really successful, kind, not, you know, villainous in any way. So we like really start to identify fat bodies, and that's why we have those like knee-jerk reactions where we laugh at fat people, we hate fat people, we feel sad for fat people, you know, all these different feelings we have, and we wonder why. We've been given a very minimal way in which to process fat bodies.
The one thing I love about being fat, and all your haters or people who don't agree with whatever I'm saying, I'm sorry, please turn off please get out of this video now, okay? But the one thing that I absolutely love about being fat is the pool. And I also like the pool for a lot of reasons. First of all, the pool, I can do like, well, I can do flips, I can do handstands, I can do a whole bunch of things that I could not do on land. And where I go swim, they have a 10-foot deep pool thing, like a diving tank. Yeah, a diving tank. That's what it's called. But yeah, they have a diving tank, and they let me go in on Saturdays. Yeah, on Saturdays and Friday. But the really cool thing is I can go all the way to the bottom and stay there for like okay, I can't stay down there that long, but I am the only one in my family that can go down there without, like, my skinny sisters, they have to push themselves down. I just jump in and make the hugest splash, and it's just so cool and amazing. That's one thing I love.
I haven't always been fat. I was actually a regular sized little girl, and when I was 17 I was actually diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Since then, taking insulin and treating my diabetes regularly, I slowly became fatter and fatter. When I began to gain weight, I was a little worried, my mother was a little worried, but as time went on, I became okay with being fat. Fat acceptance is the radical notion that fat people are human beings and deserve respect. I discovered fat acceptance probably about 6 years ago. I think it was on Twitter that somebody must have retweeted an article. And as per anything on the internet, you read one and the vortex gets you, and you read the next thing and the main things that I find is that I'm under constant surveillance. You can't go anywhere without being watched by people. That happened before I dyed my hair pink. It happened before I chose to wear bright colours. I used to be what I referred to as a brown sparrow. I would wear dark colours, not wear anything that was visible. It was before I had tattoos, and people would kind of, even then, still sort of make a comment about the fatty, you know. People judge me for my weight all the time. I go out in public, people will give my husband and I looks. We take up a lot of space when we walk down the road holding hands on a footpath. I remember when we were trying to jog once, they were cheering us on like we were in a marathon, and you could tell it was quite sarcastic.
Yeah, you get that from time to time. There's people that think they're, having a bit of fun, but realistically it does hurt sometimes.
It does hurt, yeah.
We hear in the news all the time about an obesity epidemic and how people are dying of obesity. And what we see is that it's just not true. What is true is that people are heavier than they used to be. But what's also true is that we're living longer than ever before.
People ask me all the time if you can be fat and healthy. I'm not offended by that question. I feel like it reflects on me a little bit because I feel like I am a fat and healthy person.
I'm not healthy. I'm going to say that because I have 2 autoimmune diseases. I can't say that I'm fully healthy, but I'm doing the best that I can to live a great life.
I'm not the expert on societal health. I am the expert on living in my body. I'm not a disease and I'm not diseased. This is the body that I come in.
If someone offered me a way to instantly lose my weight, guaranteed success tomorrow, I probably still wouldn't accept their offer. We shouldn't all be the same. There's nothing wrong with who I am. There's nothing wrong with being a fat person. Just like there's nothing wrong with being a non-fat person.
Fat acceptance led me to a place where I could be who I wanted to be. And so I started to ask myself how I wanted to be. And that was positive and bright and colourful and fun. And it's a really good feeling. It is a really good feeling to not hate myself.